So why don't you tell everyone at home?
No,
look
no,
right in the
don't
camera.
No.
Tell us the whole transaction, start to finish.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, give us the spiel.
Is this real?
Yeah, why not, man?
You're putting me on the spot?
Yeah. So we're here with Joey Halperin. I think by now, if you've been watching this feed enough, we will have met Joey. So Joey is working on that new construction development on Grand and has been a general contractor for quite some time, for years and years and years, and has just transitioned or is starting to transition away from construction, away from general contracting, and has been working as a real estate broker, just in a traditional sense, for about a year now.
Yeah, coming up on it.
How's it been?
It's been awesome. It's been everything I could have hoped for and more. I mean, I really, the main motive behind making that transition is I wanted to apply, sort of all the skills and information that I learned as a contractor towards just strictly helping people with one of the hardest decisions they'll ever make in their life. As a contractor, you know this too, we're still helping people, we're still making decisions for the right reasons, but sometimes there's a tug of war over whose dollar it is between yourself and the customer. Do I put on the extra special coat of paint or do I save that $30? In the role I'm in now with you as a broker, everything I'm doing is advocating for our clients, and there's no question, there's no conflict. It's just give them all the information they need and fight for them. And a lot of times what happens, like in our position, and you can tell me if you agree with me, we get so used to like real estate and transactions and some of the verbiage we use that we forget that for a new client, it's their first time. So like yesterday, I had a nice young lady in the car with me, one of our clients, and I looked over and I said, we keep looking at all these places, we've been driving around, like, is there any, do you want me to tell you how this goes? Like, do you know how the real estate offering process goes? Have you ever heard of attorney review?
Yeah, like the whole transaction.
The whole transaction from start to finish. And 9 out of 10 times so far, our clients look back at me and are like, yes, please. And that's such a refreshing feeling that I could educate them.
So why don't you tell everyone at home?
Look
right in the camera.
No.
Tell us the whole transaction, start to finish.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, give us the spiel.
Is this real?
Yeah, why not, man?
You're putting me on the spot?
Yeah. So I want you to look in the camera and be like, let me tell you, first-time home buyer, how it looks start to finish. Tell us about the transaction process start to finish.
All right, so let's just say we've already met. You're in the car with me. Let's say we've looked at 5 to 7 places, which is usually the amount of places I like to kind of cut it off in one day. Now things are starting to get serious. You really enjoyed this last place we saw on Wood Street, okay? We're gonna start talking about making an offer. This is a really good time to take a pause and kind of understand what the next few weeks are gonna look like, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go home that evening. I'm gonna check out comps. What are comps? I'm basically looking at the last 6 to 12 months of sales in that very immediate vicinity of the unit that you're interested in. So one thing we know in Chicago, it's extremely block to block. I like to keep it really 0.3 to at most 0.5 miles away from the property you're considering. I'm gonna send you a report, everything that's sold. I'm gonna tell you a history of the unit you've looked at, and I'm gonna give you my opinion on how we should offer. That's gonna be a nice, concise email shot out to you by tonight. Sometimes it's the following morning if we're out late. We're gonna follow up with a phone call. I'm gonna make sure you understand that this offer, a lot of times the offer sheet, the contract makes people very nervous, okay? It's your first time putting pen to paper and signing a document. It is a contract, it is a legal document. However, it's really a conversation starter, okay? This document, I make sure our clients know, is going to be changed, reviewed. There's gonna be sometimes 10 different iterations of this by the time you actually have to commit to the property. But the key really is get an offer out there and show the seller that you're serious about the property. After our conversation, we're gonna decide where we wanna start our offer and where we ultimately want to end up, okay? I'm gonna keep you up to date. Every time we get a counter offer, I'm gonna give you a call, ask you to step away from your desk, and we're gonna decide how to counter back. Eventually, we come to an agreement on contract terms, so that's price, closing date, mortgage contingency, any closing credits. There's a few different things that we get to play with, and of course I'll explain all those to you. We're gonna set up a home inspection, usually in the next 2 to 3 days, because there's no reason to wait. So we get there together at the home inspection. You could either bring your home inspector or I could refer 2 or 3 of our favorite ones for you. I'll be there at the home inspection, you'll be there at the home inspection. You could bring family with you. This is a really important day. By the end of the evening, we'll get that inspection report back. We will usually jump on a call or at least an email, and that's where I could use my construction background and hopefully educate you. What are the huge red flags from the inspection report, and what are some of these things that we kind of see in every inspection report that maybe you don't have to panic about? So by the time we decide that we're comfortable with the inspection report and we've made a list of repairs and credits that we want, we're usually gonna be responsible for handing in that first earnest money check. A lot of times this is a very small amount, all things considered. It's not a guarantee, but usually this money is refundable if you decide that you don't want to move forward in the transaction at various points. So I tell people, are you writing a real check for $1,000? Yes. It's really just to show the other side that we're serious about the transaction and working in good faith, but don't get too nervous yet. We still have a lot of steps to go. I'm also at this point going to refer a couple real estate attorneys for you, or you may have one that you and your family have used in the past. It's really important to find an attorney to work with that only does real estate transactions. This is really the start of attorney review. Attorney review is in my opinion, the most important part of the real estate transaction, especially for a first-time home buyer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send off the real estate contract as well as the inspection repair list to your attorney, your real estate attorney, and they're going to make contact with the selling side attorneys, okay? Keep in mind, you're being kept up to date on all this. So you're gonna see emails going back and forth, you're CC'd on everything, and you're still not fully committed to the property until the attorney review period is complete. As attorney review sort of creeps to the end, you're gonna see a lot of contract negotiations go back and forth. The attorney will call you 4, 5, 6 days later and sort of tell you, okay, we're comfortable with this final agreed upon terms. Are you comfortable with it? They might walk you through it. They're gonna look at all the documents from the condo association, or sort of all the pertinent information that you may not catch yourself, to make sure there's no special projects coming up, to make sure that the building is in good financial health otherwise. Again, things that even I may have missed. This is why you have a real estate attorney. At the end of attorney review, that's when you gotta write that second earnest money check. So this is usually a bigger check. This money is going down towards your purchase. So once you eventually arrive at the closing table, that money that you've paid as earnest money will show up as a line item, as a credit towards you and what you owe. Okay, so attorney review is closed. You've paid all your earnest money. We're psyched. You're working with your loan officer. This is when we enter this 2-week period that Ben actually taught to me is like the awkward silent period. Basically what's happening during this time is your mortgage broker is just working on securing the loan. So again, typically 30 days from contract acceptance, from offer acceptance, is your mortgage contingency date. We then go 45 days from your offer acceptance date is typically our closing date. You will get an email from your attorney or from me, typically like a week to 10 days before the closing, telling you exactly how much money you have to bring, how to bring it, where to bring it, and sort of all those questions that you have left in your head will be answered. Typically that morning or the night before, I'm gonna take you back to the property that you're buying and we're gonna do a final walkthrough. If the final walkthrough goes well, we'll run over to closing. Closing, I typically tell my clients, take at least half a day off of work. If you can't get a full day off, closings could go 2, 3, 4 hours. And you really wanna be able to just settle in there and focus on the documents that you're signing. A lot of times this is a really educational process, the closing process. We're really teaching you about what's coming up now, okay? Like making your assessment payments. How do you make your first mortgage payment? Who do you make it to? What happens if you miss a payment? There's a lot of really important stuff that we find out at closing. Typically, again, closings 2, 3 hours later, you're done. You've paid all the money you gotta pay for now, and everyone sort of takes a deep breath. I'll hand you the keys. I'll hand you a nice big bottle of champagne and ask you when you're gonna invite me over for the housewarming party. I'm looking at a lot of my former clients who forgot about that. And that's sort of the whole process.